Hi, I'm Tom Tresser, co-founder of the Civic Lab, here to talk about the TIF Illumination Project. Chicago has been called the city that works, but with the recent economy, things haven't been working at all. We're facing a series of service cuts, school closings, mass transit service cuts, and increasing demands on public health and public safety services. The city says it's broke and claims massive deficits. But many civic scholars point to one large public finance program that seems to be at the heart of this financial mess. It's called the Tax Increment Financing, or TIF, program. Now, we're a group of volunteers who are trying to figure out what the TIF program is all about and how it's impacting our great city. Our goal is to investigate and to illuminate TIFs on a community-by-community or ward-by-ward basis, since Chicago has 50 wards. We are the TIF Illumination Project, and we've gathered coders, data miners, designers, organizers, and educators to put all this information together in new and novel ways. Now, TIFs are special districts created by the city to spur development in so-called blighted areas. Blighting meaning in the terms of a bank would not lend to a project in a certain part of the city, making that project impossible, except for the gift of the TIF, which is money or property directly given to the developer with no strings attached. But where do these TIFs come from? Where do the monies come from that fund these projects? They come directly from Chicago's property taxes. When a TIF is created, a line is drawn around the properties creating that district, and it's noted how much property tax those properties give off. That is called the base. And that base amount is what goes to the units of government that need property taxes to operate. For the next 23 years, the life of the TIF captures all property taxes from the district above that base amount. As property values go up, so do the amount of money going into that TIF district. That's the increment. Now, property taxes are a major source of revenue for many aspects of local government, such as public education, public libraries, public schools, public parks. Anything that diverts property taxes from those units of government, that is to say, takes property taxes away from those units of government, erodes public service. Now, TIFs are a big deal in the city of Chicago. We have 163 TIF districts, and they cover 30% of the city's landmass. And in 2011, those 163 districts collected $454 billion in property taxes. And we added up the amount of money in those TIF districts at the end of 2011 and discovered that there was $1.3 billion sitting in those accounts. So how can we be broke with all that money sitting in the TIF accounts? Now, where has that money gone? Well, some of it has gone into the coffers of giant corporations such as the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Home Depot, Jewel Osco, Coca-Cola, UPS, United Airlines, Hyatt Hotels, Grossinger Auto, and even the folks that bought the Sears Tower. Even the central business district of Chicago has been TIF'd. But more importantly, what has happened to that money at the local level? How has it affected you and the Chicago's neighbors where they live in their wards? Now, if you try to go to the city's website to answer that question, you'd be stumped. Well, you'd start at this home page where you'd see a large embedded spreadsheet. Well, you'd quickly see that it has 4,586 rows. So there's no help there. Or you might try one of these maps and try to figure out where you live on that map, but that's no help. There's no financial information attached. Or you might go to this page where you see all the names of the TIFs listed. You click on them and it reveals a PDF document. So you could download all 163 of them, open up each one of them, read through them, and try to figure out what was the relevant information and somehow put it all together to make sense of it. Well, the average citizen, and I think we could say the way above average citizen, is not going to be successful here. They will not get their question answered. The city is not reporting this information in a meaningful manner, No local watchdog group is doing so. No academic policy shop is doing this work. And the local newspapers are in and out of bankruptcy, and they have neither the manpower nor the interest to do this kind of reporting. The TIF Illumination Project was created specifically to answer this question. We're already reporting on TIF impacts on a ward-by-ward basis. And we're doing so in a way that's relevant to the lived experience of people in their communities. We've assembled the data and fashioned graphic posters that show how TIFs work in each ward. We show the projects funded by the TIFs. We also show how much property taxes were taken by the TIF in each ward and how much was left over at the end of the year. Now we put all this together in a fantastic graphic poster, ledger sheet size, and we wish to distribute those throughout the ward. So we want to do this project in every ward and create posters specifically for that ward and print thousands of them for distribution and digestion by the citizens of those wards. Now we've already started this work, and since the project started in February of 2013, citizens are coming together to organize TIF town meetings in 10 wards across the city. And we've done 2 already. One in Englewood, where we reported on the 4 TIFs inside the 6th ward, and most recently in the Washington Park community, where we reported on the 6 TIFs inside the 20th ward. Now we estimate at this rate we will reach all the wards with TIF activity in them by the fall of 2013, and we will have trained and worked with over 1,000 residents. Now we're asking all the people who will come to our TIF meetings to become TIF Illuminators. And we want them to help investigate the projects that TIFs are funding in their wards on a project-by-project basis. Now we're seeking funds from the Night News Challenge to do all this work, and we want to hire coders to build out our tools and to make this information easily available online and in printed form. We need help with hiring staff to fuel and sustain what is essentially a giant crowdsourcing citizen investigation and reform movement for local government finance here in Chicago. Now, what we learn here in the city of Chicago will be relevant to the rest of Illinois, because across the state, 454 cities have 1,220 TIFs. And many of them are not reporting properly, and the citizens in those communities have no idea what the TIFs are doing to them. And what we do in Illinois will be relevant to the rest of the country, as TIFs are in 48 states. It's actually unknown how much TIFs are taking across the entire country, but in Illinois we know in 2010 they took about $1.5 billion in 2010. In summary, it's going to take new tools, citizen involvement, old-fashioned investigatory journalism, and Chicago-style organizing to explain and reform TIF increment financing here and across the USA.